morning. Time has passed and it's past your bedtime, my friend. Let's see how quickly I can get this done. You know, sometimes I like to have the door closed. Sometimes I like it open. I find it a challenge to decide which one is better. And what to do when, right? Right, it's like the same thing with my phone. You know, sometimes it causes me severe pain to simply, how am I supposed to phrase that? To play chess and to lose, and it's like, oh God, you know? It's like, it's so painful. I can't stand it, how painful it is. And that's a tough one. Right? It's like, I'm stuck on saying that. I hope you agree. I hope you agree, because if you don't, you know, it's like, you know, this little whiny asshole is always present. Always. This little whiny asshole is always present. And he's always waiting for a chance to come out and say, you know, I'm really miserable today. And I want others to know how miserable I am. You know, it's really tough because, you know, I have friends, which I would consider friends at this stage. And I meet them and I engage with them. And when I tell them that I also have problems, which apparently they always think, you know, it's okay to let me know what kind of shit is going on in their life. And then when I open up about my problems, you know, they say I should keep them to myself. You know, are they my problems? Or are they their problems? And I talk about them. And that's why they say I should keep them to myself, because they actually aren't my problems. But sometimes people just piss me off with their expectations. And if I feel like somebody's expecting something of me, then that's a form of energy. And if he's sending that energy my way, but he's acting like, right? Oh, I don't know, you know? That stupid face that people make. When you ask them, did you do this? And they're like, no, what do you mean? It's like, what the fuck? You know, when I say, what do you mean? I'm smiling. It's like, what do you mean? And it's obvious that I'm joking. But some people, they say, what do you mean? And they go into this really blank, right? They just go all blank. Because they think they can fool me like this. But they can't, so how am I supposed to deal with that shit? Well, sometimes I toy with them a little. You know, there's somebody I know, he's a coward. It's just like that. So why do I help him? I don't know. Because I think he's doing something that in its essence is honorable. That's what I believe. Of course, there's always this wish to be accepted. There's always the wish to be accepted. So the further question always is there. You know, do you want to be accepted? Do you really want to create place for people to be happy in? Or do you just want to make money and get rich? Because if you just want to make money and get rich and I help you, then I'm wasting my energy. Because the only purpose your money has is to feed you and to make you stand out because you have so much money. You know, the idea is that you have money, but that nobody ever even realizes, you know, it's not apparent that you have money. You know, you look like you would look with or without money. And you never give anyone the feeling, you know, I'm better than you. Because you truly believe that it doesn't matter. Because what you believe is that you have money, and what that means is that you can use the money to support others. And you have to really test yourself. Who am I in this? Where do I want my energy to flow? And can I afford not to let it flow to my employer at the moment? Who is my employer? Who's paying the bills, basically? Well, I am, because I'm working together with someone. That's how it should be phrased. You know, if you're working for Amazon, then you are working together with Amazon to do what Amazon does. Of course, Amazon sees it like, you know, you've got the CEOs and, you know, the bosses. I don't think they call them the boss or the chef anymore. It's just, you know, like CEO. And then you've got other kinds of people, and then they all say, you know, we're Amazon. You know, and the workers are just pieces of shit. And that's the same thing that, to me, the state does. You know, you're just a taxpayer. You have to pay tax because I tell you, and if you don't, you're gonna get trouble. You know, they don't see it, you know, thank you, you human, because you help us to create something here. No, they say, we are in charge. We say what's being created. You just have to give us your energy. Your life's energy. And you know what's weird is, you know, in some places, you know, I can make a cartoon about it. But if I talk about it with words, they'll tear me apart. You know, it's like talking about the pharmaceutical industry. You know, it's like questioning some of the things they do. You know, it's like, I mean, there's a war out there for money. I mean, there's a real life going on war for money. And everybody's like, you know, wants to have attention to get that money. So if I help someone to build something, then isn't he going to get more attention? Is that his goal? Does he just want to be like, you know, I told you I can be great. So what, man? What do you mean you can be great? Is that your reason? You just want to rub it into people's faces? Right? It's like, is that your reason? I'm not sure I want to help you no more. Because you said some things to me, and the way I see it is you just want to be powerful. But now there's a problem, because at the moment maybe you've got something that I want, because you've got space and a room where I can go and listen to music real loud. Is that the reason? Because I have the feeling you're just milking me and my abilities. And then in the end I don't know what you're gonna do with it. Because I've seen you sometimes, and your home looked nicer than the home of your tenants. Well, tough, right? I mean, you have to make choices sometimes. I think it's alright like this. I was thinking, I wanted to change it. But everybody's different, right? Somebody's more like a snail, some people are more like birds, some people like special plants, and some people are more like, empty buckets with muscles. But everybody serves a purpose, and everybody tries to fill themselves with something that gives meaning to their lives, right? So for me, for instance, what gives meaning to my life is coffee. I'm not saying that because I don't mean it. I'm saying that because I mean it. Because I realize that there's nothing else in my life that keeps me going, mate. Why is there only... Oh, yeah. Right. Like, what else is keeping me going? I wake up, I'm alone. It's nice. Because that means it's my cave here. Because I'm working for something, right? Only for what? You're just another selfish guy. You just want to be rich. And then we'll never see you again. We'll never get a piece of you. Yeah, because that's the idea of being self-employed and calling myself the Barbarian Lunatic. So that you all stay away from me. And I really know, everybody's kind of pissing me off. Why? You go through the city and what's happening? You meet people you've met before and they call you a junkie. What is this? Cheers. And they call you a junkie. It's like, I don't know why, but it really strikes home. It's not because they call me a junkie. It's the way they say it, and I have the feeling actually they're saying it with a bit of love and everybody's so pissed off. Because I am a fucking junkie, man. I mean, I run from sugar to cigarettes to tea, and then the coffee, and then the food, and then the other things. But to quote somebody that I've already quoted once, it's like, you're always loaded. And that doesn't mean you're loaded on whatever. I actually turned on the heater because I felt so cold. Right? It's like, you know, I've been always loaded. In terms of, I've always got something to keep me going. I've been loaded as a child on sugar. High on sugar. And I'm thinking about what next to eat. Alright, if that be the woman of my dreams here, I'd eat her. And then I'd have breakfast, right? It's like... Of course, the woman also has to want it. Can't say. Right, it's like, why did it come up? Because I just played a round of chess, and there was this guy, and we started playing, and then he resigned, and then he called me a lunatic, and I think, well, apparently that's what I am, because, and some people, they know how to deal with it, and then there's others, and they don't. And what I really want is a proper breakfast. I want to go and buy eggs. I want to go and buy corn flour and chickpea flour. And then I want to make bread. And I want to film it and show you how I make it. That's a very clear... That's a very clear plan that I have. That's what I want to do. It's gluten-free bread because I'm sick. Sick of... Yeah, yesterday I ate 2 packages of cookies. 2 packages, man. And I drank like one of these mixed beers. Simply because, I got hammered by life. Life flushed me down the toilet once. So the question is, what am I supposed to do about that friend that I work with and who tells me, keep your problems to yourself? Well, I'm just going to say nothing anymore. And I mean that. I'm going to go there when I want. I'm going to open the space. I'm going to tell him, I'm there. I'm just going to say nothing anymore. Because I'm really sick of this shit. I go to people, maybe they help me being a man. But they whine all the time. Sometimes I want to whine as well. And sometimes I just want to speak about things that are in the room. To bring them out into the open, right? It's like... Just think about it. I'm sitting there with a guy in the park. He's a friend. To me, from my perspective, he's a friend. And then he starts whispering and tells me information about a couple that's walking around there. And I say, I don't like it. Right, it's like, I don't need to know this. To me, it's just an old man. Why do I have to know what his background is? I didn't get it, alright. He was letting me know something that was actually valuable to me. I believe. But I thought, oh, he's gossiping. I wasn't sure if I wanted him to be my friend. And I thought he was gossiping. But what's the matter? Because we're just with the 2 of us. But I thought, how does it look on me? Well, he was giving me information, which is a valuable thing to have. Am I right? Yes, I'm right. Of course I'm right. Of course you're right, Christopher. You're always right. Yeah, sure, man, I'm always right. So what's gonna happen? Well, we met again, because it happened twice, apparently. And then we communicated it. There was a bit of I say tussle. It's like a pull with words or something. A tussle doesn't mean I have to be on a mattress with you. It could mean that you just have a kind of a discussion or a heated argument, until you are able to understand where each of you is coming from, because that's the real thing. That's the real challenge. It's like making a woman understand that the reason you've been shouting at her is because you love her. It's like, don't you get it? I really love you. That's why I've been shouting at you. Oh, that's why you've been shouting at you. Yeah, plus, of course, if you're in love with a woman and that woman never engages with you, then you may question if she's the right woman to love. Because it's just, it's not just the disrespect that maybe I have towards someone. It's also the disrespect that this person may have for me. If you know what I mean. And I know what I mean. Because I've said it. And I've thought long about it. And I came to the conclusion that I know what I mean. Because I understood the circumstances that created this situation. Because I analyzed the situation to understand who's insane now. The problem is, in the end, I always get to the point where I say nobody's insane. Which is a bit of a letdown because, if I can't blame the other one, then there's probably something I missed and that I could have done better. It's like playing chess and you make a move and you're really smart about the move, you feel like, you're really smug. And then suddenly you lose your queen. It's like, damn it. It's like, that just wipes the smile off your face. But now let's see, if I'm in a situation where I'm in love with a woman, and that woman is in love with me, and let's say we're living, we're at a distance there's a distance between us, but we still decided, we're gonna love each other. Then let's see how that works out. I'm a man now. I love a woman. And the woman wants me to love her because she's in love with me. So as long as I keep riding her, she's gonna feel powerful because she's gonna think, oh, he keeps coming. All I have to do is lean back. Because he wants me so bad. At one point he's gonna come and get me. But that's, it's not my intention. It's not my intention. Because I want her to come to me. Because I am where I am. And I'm not going anywhere. Because I'm building myself a life here. Which I've never done. And which is very hard. right? I mean, I put henna onto my walls, which means I'm staying. Which is a bit of a scary situation, and when I see it, it makes me angry. And I feel like I want to put more color onto the wall, but not now. I feel like I just want to do that when I'm alone. Which I am. Because that camera doesn't count. You know, it's just a bad replacement for a wife and children, which I seem to be unable to have. So what's the situation? You know, that woman is sitting somewhere, you know, it's just my imagination, right? That's how I imagine things to be. Because I don't know how they really are, so that's just my imagination. I want you to know that's just my imagination. So I'm imagining that there's a woman out there that's really missing me, right? That's a very cute image. And whether or not that's true doesn't matter, but just I'm imagining that there's a woman out there that really likes me. But I don't know actually who it is. So the way I used to imagine it is, you know, there's a woman, and this woman is somewhere else. Because that's usually the story of my life, right? That whoever I like is somewhere else. So it's probably not the woman that I first imagined. Maybe it's someone else. Who's to say? I don't know, right? It's like beyond the scope of what I can understand. Because it's too complex for me. To look at all the factors and come to a conclusion. It's way too complex for me, right? Maybe you'd get it. I don't like it. It's so quick. Just a second. Yeah, my conscience is communicating to you that I'm gonna use real sugar this time. Or am I? Yeah. Right, and there's like, oh, how about I do half-half? Right, there are so many options of what I could do, but actually there aren't. if it boils down to it, then there's only one thing to do, and that is stay here and keep engaging with the people that are where you are. Because if you want to have a woman in your life, and that's probably the best way to bring that about. Because right, it's like if a woman wants stability, whichever woman that is, then this woman probably wants a place where she can be who she is, you know, as a woman that loves a man. And when that's the case, and she can come to where you are, or you can meet someone that is where you already are. Right? It's like, I don't know. Alright, I've got 40 minutes left. I want to make this image now. I'm going to keep this camera on myself. And I'm going to turn on OBS Studio. I'm going to connect my camera. You see where I'm going with this. I have a plan to have a woman in my life. I'm not 100% convinced that I know who this is going to be. Which means that, come on, just connect it, man. There's no use in running after a woman because I'm unable to decide which one it should be. Because there's so many options. Right? It's like literally so many options that who am I supposed to love, right? What is this? Just like there's so much anger underneath. Like, why is it not showing this? Oh wait, now I know. Of course, now you know. Yeah, it's interesting because I'm actually not using this anymore. At all. What is this? You know, I'm so angry underneath. Like really angry. I'm not just saying that. But I'm saying it. Because it seems to be the truth. And I'm just trying to use this anger in a very constructive way. Yeah? Because I don't want to be really self-destructive. You see, it's like, what is this shit? Everything's a burden, everything's heavy, I have a dream. I have a dream. Yeah. And then you wake up and you realize that's what it was. It was a dream. And that's it. But I don't know who I met in that dream. Could be anyone. And whoever it is never came anywhere. And it makes me sad. Like I'm telling you, there's a lot of sadness inside. And it's all I can take. Right? It's like there's a lot of sadness inside. Lots of it. You know, I'm not just saying, you know, I'm a bit sad. It's like I'm full of sadness. And, you know, when it comes down to it, all I want to do is just probably masturbate all day to get rid of this feeling. Because, yeah, it pisses me off. I don't like what I'm doing. I'm just doing it because I can do it. And that's the interesting part. Because yesterday I spent time with a friend and he showed me some videos and there was some old Disney things, right? Like these movies that are like no color, just Mickey running around. And what I realized is that this is surely a self-portrait. Right, it seemed a bit scary. It seemed a bit scary. But then I realized, you know, there was this scene. You've got Mickey and he's running around and it's storming, and then, you know, he goes into a house and then things happen, and then this hooded figure comes. And first you think, oh wow, this hooded figure is so scary, and Mickey's, you know, ever so scared. And then you think, wow, this is so terrible. And then the hooded figure, you know, pulls back the hood and it's like a skull underneath, and like, wow, you know, that's like, what is this? And then the hooded figure tells Mickey to play the piano. And then Mickey starts playing the piano, and then he does it wrong, and then the hooded figure shows him how to do it right. And then he's playing the piano and skeletons are dancing. Now this is like deep stuff. I mean, this is like spirituality in a nutshell. Your ancestors come, they try to talk to you in your dreams, and you shit your pants. And they're trying to tell you, hey man, this is how you can play the guitar. And you're like, oh, but I'm scared of you. That's why I hate people who are afraid. You know, they just annoy me. Of course, you know, sometimes I'm afraid as well. But then I say, you know, hey, because I have fear, I can be courageous. Because something happened to me, you know, like that story I told you. You know, it's like a real life experience. Somebody punched me in the face. For basically no reason at all. Just to see, you know, if I'm somebody they have to be afraid of. You know, you could have asked, man. You didn't have to punch me in the face for that, you stupid prick. But he did. And now I was thinking if I should be afraid to go back to the city. Like, in my own city. And I said, no, man, fuck that shit. You know, I'm just gonna go there anyway because they're just kids. So what? If they come with 5 people, then what? Maybe I'm just gonna run away then. You know, who cares? You know, if I want to go through the city, I'm gonna go through the city. You know, I'm not living in New York, you know. It's not the Bronx here. It's just like this puny village. People are incredibly bored. And all I can think about is smoking a cigarette. It's like, that's insane. Because you know what I know? If I smoke that cigarette now, I'm gonna be too tired to move. Because that's what I realized. And maybe that's how it's supposed to be at the moment, right? Maybe there's a reason why I'm smoking, and maybe I'm just being weak. You know, there's all kinds of explanations. But what I saw was, what happened to Mickey is basically what's happening to me. Make art, man. It's like, but I don't want to. Make music, man, but I don't want to. And that's also true. Because I can make art all day. I can make music all day. But I don't want to be a prisoner of my fear, stuck at home making art and music. You know, I want to engage with life. And at the moment, I'm not like severely interested in writing books. Because I've written books, lots of them. And if I keep writing them, then I feel like, you know, nobody's gonna read my books ever. Because there's just too many and you can't decide with which to start. Right? That's like the way I feel about it. Yeah, this guy got giant nipples. Because that's the way. How does Rick say? And I'm just saying that to catch you into liking me, right? You know, I'm just talking about things which I think my audience would like. It's not true, but sometimes I feel that that's what I'm doing because I also have a mission. And my mission is to talk about spirituality. And maybe that's my ancestors telling me, do this, man, do it. Because I came here and I was awakened and I have been given like intense visions of what I have to do. And it started with the Book of Fear and it continued with other things. Right? I've been given a vision once of a book at an ayahuasca ceremony. That's the book Totally Misunderstood. I've been giving visions that I would give talks in front of an audience, also at an ayahuasca ceremony. And I realized I can do this. That's the problem. That you know, when I had the vision, it was like, okay, that's how it's gonna be, man. But not only. What it mostly was, I can do this. And that is the problem. The reason why I keep going is because I also had a vision about the Love Our Children Foundation. I've been given the mission to raise awareness and to accumulate money for this cause. Now, you will never really know how honest I am about it, but you can see how much work I already put into this and how much I've shared. about the experiences that I've made. Because I generally keep very little back. I mean, I've been talking to all of you about the entire process of basically everything. And so if you want to donate money, feel free. The information is on my website. It's on christopher-reusch.com. You will have no say in the content that I create. Because the only reason you started watching my content is because I was simply reluctant to do anything but the things that I wanted to do. And that includes, right, it's like, if I don't want to write at the moment, then I won't write. If I don't want to do whatever, then I won't do it. And that's what you have to deal with, right? If you donate money to me or to the cause, I will do with the money what I find meaningful. And these will be certainly also local projects that I believe in. But I also have to, right, there are certain things that I feel like I could benefit from. It's like having a car, right? I've never really had a car. I've never really had an income. Because I refused to work for people that I didn't like. Or that just used me. Of course, you could say we all use each other, right? It's like, you know, that friend I keep talking about? In a way, you could say I use him and he uses me, but I also give myself to his cause. And because we trust each other, you know, he provides me with space that I can fill with my presence because he sees what I can do in a room. And that's the first time I think I have people that trust me enough to just give me space and say, you know, do what you do. Because, you know, I don't know who's enlightened because the people I meet, they're all enlightened. Basically everyone. There's just some people that hide it. And then there's people that don't hide it. And that's why if you hear people like Grandmaster Wolf or something, and they want to tell you how enlightened they are, it's like, you know, there's a big fat question mark on this. You know, I want to help people. Yeah, people can help themselves, man. If people want help, they're gonna get it. Otherwise, just leave them alone. Right? If somebody has like stage 4 cancer, which in my book never existed and will never exist, it's just you laboring your disease so that you have a reason to feel sick and, you know, to be like, you know, it's like that thing in Rick and Morty. You just have to check. It's making me uneasy. 26 minutes left, you know? I can feel that. That's insane. So yeah, what if you call me a junkie? Say, go ahead. Who isn't a junkie these days? At the very least, you're a junkie for life. Because I want to keep living. And I'm constantly short on breath. And that's why I smoke. Actually, the real reason why I smoke is because I'm sad. and everything's a drag. So I can't even say that I cannot say that. Fuck it, man. I cannot say that smoking is only bad, because yesterday I smoked tobacco with sage, and what it did was it helped me to relax enough so I could sleep. Because I realized, sometimes you really need a break. And I mean really need a break. And sure, I get it. Why a family father would tell me, maybe keep your problems to yourself. Because I'm not a child anymore. I have to be an adult now. Tough, right? It's like tough. Tough, man. You're not a child anymore. You're an adult now. It's like really tough. Yes, it's really tough. It's really, really tough. It's like poo-poo. I have to do spiritual work. Yeah. Welcome to the suck, man. But the suck was a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah, isn't that right? Yeah, that's partly right. It's partly the truth. And I just want to jack off. I want to stand here like, ah! That's how I really feel, right? It's like I just want to masturbate. Because there's just nobody, It's just really weird if you think about it. But what I really want is to keep it in. And it's driving me insane to even try to keep it in. It's like the no-fap thing, right? It's like, how serious do I have to be with it? Well, it's hard to say. Sometimes I have the feeling that it's helping me to transmute energy. Sometimes it helps me to relax. Sometimes, it's helping me to relax. So, how bad can it be? Generally what I've learned is, demonize as little as you can about what you're doing. If your feeling is telling you do this, then just do it. I'm not saying just do it, I'm saying just do it. I'm saying just do it. Just pay attention, of course. Don't be an idiot about it. Just pay attention. Is this bad for me? How much can I smoke until it is killing me, or until I cannot manage anymore on my own? I've met people, that live this kind of life. I'm always loaded. And they start up with drinking coffee, they continue with eating sugar, and then they start with cannabis and tobacco, and then alcohol, and then they mix it all together. And then they end up with speed and cocaine and crack because, they're just using things to make themselves feel better. You know, and it's gonna get you at some point, my friend. You know? I mean, you're playing with the devil here. And the devil is going to have a nice time. I mean that. He's gonna have a really nice time. You know, seeing you live in the hell that you created for yourself. He's gonna have a really nice time, you know? Not just a bit of a nice time, just a really nice time. He's gonna be like, nice, you know? Nice. That's what he's gonna be like. It's like, nice, you know? You know? I really got that guy to love me. You know, I really got that guy to love me. You know, he's such a sucker for me and what I got to give. No, I really got him. I really got him. And he loves it. Sure, man, it's the devil. And everybody loves being loved. I mean, I love being loved. For sure. I mean, I'm the most greedy guy you'll ever meet. I mean, I'm saying that because I mean it. I mean, you have to be greedy to do what I'm doing. You know, it's like you want to get somewhere. How are you going to get there? How are you going to get there? You've been giving a vision. What are you going to do to bring that vision about? Like, how far are you going to go to turn the vision that you had into a reality? How far? Well, I'm going very far. You know, I'm going like end of the world, right? It's like, I'm in love, man. I'm in love with life. And that's, you know, whatever I think about that Grandmaster Wolf who thinks he got it and who's like, you know, people ask me for advice now. You know, who's the weird one now? You know, who's the weird one now? Who's the lunatic? I've been telling you all along that I know what I'm doing. But you don't. Because you talk about climate change, but you're screwing the planet. Whatever planet means, right? It's like non-existent. Look at his hair. He must be crazy because his hair is standing everywhere. It's like, wow. You know, I'm just passing time until I can go shopping. But I probably won't manage to wait that long. Which then means, of course, a hell of a lot of frustration. You know, I like checkerboard patterns. I really like it. I like it. I like checkerboard patterns. I like the checkerboard patterns. I like the checkerboard patterns because the checkerboard patterns are kind of like, you know? It's like that movie. Alice in Wonderland 3. 3 times 3 equals nothing. Equals. What do you mean? Equals. Please leave me alone. Equals. What are you saying? Equals. My God, I think you're crazy. Equals. What is this? Equals. It's just a bunch of words. So who gives a crap? Exactly, man. You know, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, who gives a crap about any of the stuff that any of us are saying? It's like, I mean, what do you mean? Right? It's like, what do you mean with all of this shit that you're talking about? Well, who cares? Who cares? And that's right. Nobody. Nobody cares. Because we're all a little bit selfish. We're all a little bit selfish. You know, and I'm saying a little bit, but I mean like a lot. I mean a lot selfish. I mean, we're like, everybody's like really selfish. Not just a bit, but like completely selfish, right? That's what you have to understand. Everybody's a little bit selfish. Everybody's a bit of a rascal. Everybody's a bit of a prankster. A prankster. A prankster. Right? Everybody. That's what you have to understand. Because if you fail to recognize this, you know, then you're gonna be a pain in my ass. And a pain in everybody else's ass.
And then my feeling says, this is good. This is good.
It's like 7 in the morning. Are there people sleeping underneath? I don't know. Would they hear me? Would they hear me?
Would they hear me?
Do I hear myself? Do I hear myself? Well, possibly. It's possible that I'm hearing myself. And that's why I stand here. And no matter how much I smoke, how much I drink, or how much I do what I'm doing, or what I cannot stop doing, which is probably a more accurate way to say it. You know, in the end, it's me who has to suffer the consequences of my choices. And that's as far true as truth goes. And that's why, no, I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on. I don't even see anything as real. I mean, you try to talk to me about anything, all I can say to you is, I'm not even sure that I'm real. I mean, do you know where I'm coming from? You know, I have days where I'm very insecure about the reality of my own existence. So how am I supposed to know whether you are real or not? You know, it's like, how insane am I really? who am I talking to? You know, I go to the forest and I hold a speech. And there's people there and I talk with these people. And afterwards, I'm not sure whether or not they were fairies. I mean, that's the world that I live in. And I just want you to be aware of that. Because I'm not living in this kind of ordinary world that you may place me in. You know, that's just my perspective on life. That's the way I see things. That's the kind of crap that I have to deal with on a daily basis, right? It's like I have to ask myself whether or not I'm real. And that makes it very hard to do anything at all. Because I'm not even sure that what I'm doing has any meaning, and that's the worst place you could find yourself in. You know, to wake up and to question your entire reality. You know, it's like trying to let go of anything you know, and that's when I talk to I listen to Grandmaster Wolf, whoever that guy is. Who cares? But I listen to him and I think, what is he talking about? Like, what is he talking about? Nothing anybody says makes sense. Ever. And that's why this guy here, you know, he probably makes more sense than anybody else. And in the end, I have to make a choice. I have to say, this is the image now, and I'm going to release it. And, you know, I'm going to work on it for a while longer. You know, simply because I think I can afford it. Or it just... That's also the problem, right? It's like, how dark do I want it to be? Maybe it's just good like this, because if I do this, maybe it's going to be a little bit too bright. And then if I do this, it's going to be a little bit too dark. But this just brings out the colors much nicer. And I like things to be at least a little bit flashy. That had no effect. That had an effect, but I'm not liking it. You know, my life's a drag. You know, I feel like heavy. I feel down. I feel like beat up. And I think that everybody feels that way right now. I like it to be a bit washed out, to be honest. You know, it doesn't have to be all perfect all the time. That's it. Sometimes I think I should go to McDonald's, but then I think, why? I don't like them. They make shitty food. Like, the quality of their food is disgusting. Right? It's like one more round in hellish heaven. It's like you wake up, it's the same thing over and over again. It's repetition, repetition, repetition. It's like field stripping a weapon. You know, I don't like quoting things. I don't like to keep talking here because I've said it all. Cheers.